For years, I was always interested in studying the environment and what it was capable of. When I was a kid, I would study rocks, plants, trees, you name it. I eventually attended a university for it and learned even more about the amazing things nature can cure with the tools of science. I love helping the world when I get the chance, so when I graduated, I applied for a job at Root Research Labs. The building was under construction for a couple of years, but when it was finally finished, they were looking for more scientists to expand on their research, some drug they were working on. All I knew back then was that it was meant to keep people emotionally stable. The government was backing this project because they wanted to reduce the amount of riots, anger, depression, and basically any emotion that would drive people to commit crimes. With the fall of the American economy, crime rates have skyrocketed throughout the nation for over 30 years, quite the ugly number. Now, of course, no drug is perfect. There's always bound to be some sort of side effects, but that's almost always the risk of taking medicine of any form. When I was hired, I had the honor of meeting the brilliant mind behind it all, Dr. Adam Walls. Wonderful man. He told me a lot of things about Iris, the drug they were working on. He told me about the years and years of research, everything they've tried to just make it stable, and how it was challenging. Just think about it. Years of constant failure, and he still didn't quit. It was like he wouldn't rest until he found a way to bring peace to the world. That was his goal, after all. After a year of working with him, impressed with my work, he moved me to the lead team in charge of testing and directly working with the formula. I was quite excited, and the pay raise was awesome. In testing, we had people volunteer to be tested on. I won't lie, seeing anyone suffer from the possible side effects was painful to watch. But they put their lives on the line to help us make it safe for the world to use, for the greater good. The worst part of it was, we lost some lives in the process. Though that is to be expected, unfortunately. Although not as many as those who lived through the suffering. We gave them the best treatment possible because we were always prepared, and always on standby if anything happened. In the meantime, over the years, I've been watching my little sister Rose. Originally, we are from Brighton, but eventually we had to move. Believe it or not, it's in worse shape than this country right now. There are too many homeless. My parents are busy working a lot of the time, so they told me to watch her. The sad part is, now I'm more like a father to her than our own. I understand he's working to put money in the bank, and to give us benefits as well. I just wish they would have spent more time with Rose. It's been hard seeing her grow up. She always had a hard time getting along with friends, and eventually lost them all. It broke my heart when she asked me to give her a pack of Iris. I constantly told her no, but she just wouldn't stop. At this point, the drug was already on the market and safe to use, but anyone on the age of 13 aren't supposed to use it. Now, we haven't really tested children to support that, but studying the power behind the drug itself, you know? So, technically, horribly admitting it, Rose was the first child test subject, and I can't believe I let her take it. It was hard to work in the lab because I was shaking, scared of what might happen to her. I left her to sleep after she took the medicine. It was around 30 minutes later they had a perimeter breach. The alarm went off. We were under emergency protocol at that point, which meant we were supposed to destroy evidence, dispose of everything. Basically, a slash and burn operation. Unfortunately, it was too late. The SWAT team killed most of the scientists and destroyed our labs. It was a dirty setup by the government, wanting to cover their tracks. I didn't know what was going on or why they wanted to kill us. I was just worried what would happen to Rose. When I looked down the hallway, it was too late to go there unnoticed. But I managed to sneak into the security room and locked down Rose's room for her safety. I escaped through the ventilation shaft. When I reached outside, I saw a whole new world. Something devastating. The streets were empty, cars were destroyed, and as I was running, I saw people killing each other. I burned my lab coat to destroy the evidence of my departure, though I'm sure they would go through the security footage eventually. At first, I thought this was some sort of zombie apocalypse. Yeah, silly I know, but that wasn't the case. It was strange though. I had no idea what was going on, and didn't stick around to find out. I rushed home and packed whatever I could. I packed my clothes and got out of there, driving for miles to get somewhere safe. When I arrived at a hotel, I walked into the main lobby. No one was there. It was completely deserted. I went behind the desk and started looking for room keys. I just picked whatever was on the ground to be safe. I walked outside and up the stairs to the room. I locked the door as soon as I got inside. I turned on the TV and saw the madness for myself on the news. Taking over every channel, I finally knew what was causing their strange, chaotic behavior. Little did we know that prolonged exposure of iris, as well as using it too often, could cause permanent sleepwalking. It's outrageous that we didn't even figure this out in testing. We tested these theories. The results were positive. We kept them there for days. It didn't make any sense. These people were trapped inside their own minds under the drug's effects. I felt terrible for the whole thing. No. Devastated. I was responsible for checking the safety of this medicine, and I had failed. Knowing I was potentially responsible for the death of thousands of people, at that moment, I hated myself, every fiber of my being in that moment. I had accomplished the opposite of what I hoped for. I accidentally released some sort of poison into the world. Knowing this, I couldn't forgive myself. The only thing that was keeping me alive was the hope that Rose was still alive out there somewhere, hoping that I had protected her. Hours went by as I laid in bed, devastated by the horror I'd seen. I heard a knock on the door. I wasn't sure if I should answer it or not. Could have been robbers, other survivors, maybe the military trying to rescue the survivors. Or maybe, somehow I got tracked down by the very people trying to kill me. I peeked outside the window, and I couldn't believe my eyes. The possibility never even crossed my mind. I opened the door. Rose? But how? You're alive?
Big brother!
There she was, my little sister. I don't know how, but she was there. Somehow she found me, and I didn't even know how. I'll admit a part of me was afraid she might have been dead. I was completely shocked, but relieved to say the least. It was the happiest moment of that day. I picked her up and gave her the biggest hug. We both went inside. I had a lot of questions to ask her. What happened? How did you find me? Are you okay? You look okay. Oh God. Oh God. You won't believe what happened. It's dreadful. Oh, sorry. You go first. I need to know what happened to you.
Well, you see, I had this strange dream about a boy I was friends with, until everything went wrong.
Rose had told me things she saw in her dream, and I was shocked. She saw the past, and became very aware of things she couldn't see before. She saw me get in my car, drive to the hotel, and what room I was staying in this dream. A simple dream. It's as if the drug itself gave her psychic abilities. That was the first recorded case of this kind of reaction to the drug. That meant there was something very different about Rose that most people didn't have, and I couldn't figure out what it was. She could see the past, memories that weren't her own, but I wonder, could she see the future as well? More hours had passed, and we grew hungry. I didn't dare step outside without a weapon, so I searched for one. Out of sheer luck, I managed to find a pistol in one of the drawers. I didn't know what it was doing there, or why someone might have had it, but I certainly wasn't complaining. It had all the bullets left in it too. I told Rose to stay put while I searched every room for food and other resources. The rooms were locked, unfortunately, so I had to break open the windows and climb in. I had searched through at least 20 or so rooms before I found any food, and if I said I didn't get cut by glass while climbing in some of the rooms, I would have been lying. I brought back some packed ham sandwiches and fruit with some bottled water. It looked like they'd had only been there since earlier in the day, so it was all still good to eat. Later on, we heard some knocking on each door on the floor we were on. Eventually, she knocked at our door as well. It sounded like a survivor. I opened the door slowly and saw, well, wow, a beautiful girl who looked around my age. I mean, she was absolutely gorgeous, breathtaking. Oh, sorry, right, I'll carry on with the story. Rather than say hello, I asked her questions.
Have you seen the news today?
Yes, I did. Is there anyone else with you?
No, I'm afraid not. Come on in.
I'm Krystal. What's your name?
I'm Jacob, and this is my sister Rose.
Well, aren't you cute?
Aw, she's a bit shy.